What's up? So the Grammys just happened, and it made me think about authority and what people value, all these different things. Because we're all making everything up as we go. Humanity is just a big old head fake. We're just look at me, or look at anyone talking like they know what they're talking about. None of us do. It's all made up. You might think you know what you're talking about, and that's actually the most dangerous part, or the most dangerous situations in life are when you're like, oh yeah, I know what's up. But in reality, everyone's just making stuff up. I think it's really scary the realization you have when you become an adult and you realize that the adults were making it up all along. I think as kids, it's very easy to think that, the adults have it figured out. I'm just a kid. I don't know anything. And then you become an adult and you realize that the adults are still just kids. They just have been kids for longer, if that makes sense. That illusion of being an adult is just that. It's an illusion. So when it comes to something like the Grammys, I see a lot of people wanting to win a Grammy, for example, artists and producers and everything, engineers. And at the end of the day, I think it all comes back to delusion and having made up a lot of things about yourself. Like, oh, I'm very good at music, or like, I know this, and this about music, and you want it validated. And of course, I get that. It's like with YouTubers. Like, I want validation that I make good videos or that people like me, which is the most dangerous part, by like people watching and enjoying the videos. I get that. And I think a lot of us want that to some extent in our lives. But the scary part about the internet in general is that we kind of outsourced the feeling of being validated to something very fickle, which can be like likes or views and people we don't even know that well. And we're kind of moving away from the actually healthy parts of getting our validation, which is the people in our lives that know us, that we matter to. For some reason, we decided that that validation does not matter because they know us and care about us, which is really backwards if you think about it. Why am I or anyone else who does internet content out here trying to get randos to think I'm good? I'll never freaking get everyone to like my videos. Not everyone is going to like it, and that's fine. But when I get like an angry comment or whatever, or I get a lot of angry comments. It's not just one comment, but when I get a comment like that, I'm like, oh, it's almost like a little crisis every time, and it's bizarre. Like, it doesn't hit me as hard as it used to, of course, because I've been doing this for way too long. I'm doing this for over 10 years now, professionally, which is crazy. But it's crazy. What does that matter more to me than when my dad says that I'm a good boy, or whatever. It's just so bizarre. And I can see it in how people value each other as well. Like, the Grammys may be like a weird example, but just in general, like, if you find yourself in a creative career or a career that overlaps a lot with your personal kind of space, like a YouTuber, you will often find that maybe if you've done something really cool recently that got a lot of attention or views or like cool, whatever, collab, whatever, then people might treat you differently. If you're very well connected, people will treat you differently. And it's all natural, but it's definitely going to impact your personal self-esteem. And that's kind of like why I don't think that it's good to just live in your work bubble as a creator. I know most of you probably not professional creators, but it translates into a lot of different things. Like, I think it's good to have friends outside of your work. Just like, don't even do the same thing you do. They could do anything. You should have many janitor friends if you're not a janitor. Like, at least 20 janitor friends are the ideal amount because they're very friendly. And I don't know. I was going to say they keep your house clean, but then I was like, they probably don't want to work when they don't work either. No, but I don't know what I'm trying to go with this is that we're all just making it up. Don't stress out over it. I often in my life found myself very attracted to friends that really seemed like they knew what they were doing. And then being friends with those people over many years of my life, I realized that they had no idea what they were doing, but they were deluding themselves that they knew what they were doing a lot harder than I was at the time. And often that just means that they'll have a bigger crash or a bigger identity crisis down the road. That's the type of stuff like those really confident people who seem like they know what they're doing. I feel like they're overrepresented in terms of like divorces or breakups of long relationships or realizing that they didn't want to do the career they were doing, because I think they were just chugging along instead of having the crisis that I think it's healthy to have a crisis maybe like every few years, like 2 to 3 years, to be like, am I doing the stuff I want to? Am I, around the people I want to? Does my life right now make me feel good? For me personally, last year, it was an important year for me. I wasn't uploading as much, but I was thinking a lot about what I want to do. But I also realized I did something really dumb, and that was that I spent a lot of time alone last year, because I didn't really want to be influenced by other people, because I really wanted to think about, oh, what do I want to do for the next 10 years of my life or whatever. And I think I'm very easily influenced by others. I don't know about you guys, but if someone gives me an opinion or I just notice what they like, let's say I'm around someone who really likes money or whatever, then subconsciously I start thinking like about money more as well. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that last year, but instead, I think one of my main priorities this year, because I wasn't around as many people, because I was like thinking, it wasn't like I was alone all the time, but I was alone a lot more than I used to. It ended up being that one of my main priorities for this year instead became to be around people more. So right now I'm in my friend Trey's studio. This is not my studio, as you can see. Anyway, it's a really cool studio. This is where I filmed the So Selfish music video and the music video parts of the songwriting video that isn't up on the main channel anymore. But yeah, I took it down. I don't know if I talked about this. So I took down the songwriting video that had like 3 different songs in it. It kind of tanked views-wise, and it was just one of those things where I felt like I did too big of a jump. It was a bit self-centered of me. I think it's natural for YouTubers' content to evolve over time, but you kind of need to bring the audience with you on that journey, and I didn't. I basically was doing all this thinking by myself last year, and I had all these ideas of what type of content I should do, and then I just made one. But you guys had not been part of that journey, or like the people on the main channel, they hadn't been part of that journey at all, which meant that, okay, it's, wow, cool, that's entirely different content from what you've done for like the last years. And it is hard. It's hard right now with YouTube, to be honest, like in terms of the content, because I think that creative content is not very popular anymore. It's something I've noticed. Like, try to think of someone making something, like creating something on YouTube, doing well. I feel like everything has become like talking about other people that did something freakishly remarkable. And maybe that's what people want to hear about. They want to hear about the first person to fly around the world in a kayak. I made that up, but you know what I mean? Maybe people don't want to see you like try and make something sometimes really cool and sometimes not as cool. Maybe that's just not something people want to put confidence in creators to do. But I just feel like a lot of YouTubers have become kind of curators of stories and curators of the world and the internet, and kind of reacting to things or talking about things or playing video games, and including me. I talk about music so much, right? But there's just so little being made in the YouTube space right now, and it takes so much for it to, I guess, be interesting enough to people. It's probably a cultural thing, because for a while we were making all kinds of things, and there were all these different types of makers, and there was a bunch of art channels that did well. There's a bunch of everything, but right now it just feels like everything's at a standstill in terms of that. Everything's like derivative of something else. And yeah, I don't know. Like everything's just reviewing stuff, I guess, or like trying to evaluate every of something. And it's not, I don't find that I love a lot of content on YouTube right now, to be honest. There's not that much that I love to watch. There's a good amount of things that I'm okay with watching, and I'm really into tech, so sometimes I watch a lot of tech reviews. But in general, just kind of bummed about the state of creative stuff right now. Uh, you know, but maybe that's just how it is. Maybe we'll just keep talking about other stuff on YouTube forever. YouTube, it has become just like a commentary pool. At least my YouTube. I know YouTube is huge. There's so many different things, but let me know. When was the last time you saw something like a YouTube video or like found a channel of people that actually made stuff? Let me know in the comments if there is anything that you think is really cool where people actually make stuff. And yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys later, and be safe. Just kidding. Freaking be in danger all the time. Do it. It'll don't do that. Okay, bye-bye.